Welcome to our Middle East briefing show. Today, we're diving into some exciting updates from around the globe. First up, Hong Kong's cycling scene is experiencing a major revival. Under Coach Herve Dagorne's leadership, the team is shifting gears from limited local races to international competitions, aiming for medals at the 2026 Asian Games and 2032 Olympics. This fresh approach is nurturing young talent and building a competitive spirit that could put Hong Kong on the global cycling map. Next, Turkey faced a powerful 6.1 magnitude earthquake in Balikesir province, causing buildings to collapse and injuring 22 people. The region, still recovering from a devastating quake last year, saw residents rushing outdoors and seeking shelter in mosques and schools. With aftershocks still rumbling through the area, rescue teams are working tirelessly to assess the damage and provide aid. Finally, in the Middle East, Hamas is holding on to the remains of 2 Israeli hostages, delaying their return despite knowing their burial sites. This standoff adds tension to ongoing negotiations, with hopes high for a resolution soon. Meanwhile, the situation in Gaza remains tense as efforts continue to recover bodies and negotiate peace. Please continue to stay tuned for more detailed insights. South China Morning Post vividly captures the transformative journey of Hong Kong cycling under Coach Herve Dagorne. Once dominated by legendary figures like Sarah Lee Wisey and Wang Kampa, the sport faced a void of seasoned leaders. Dagorne, however, saw this challenge as an opportunity, emphasizing Hong Kong's sizable population and its potential to rival cycling powerhouses like Denmark and New Zealand. His strategic shift from traditional training to international competitions in Australia and Europe has infused the team with a fierce competitive spirit, resulting in remarkable achievements such as Cici Li Ziwing's 5 medals at the Asia Track Championships and Chloe Leung Wingyi's rising profile in the UCI Road World Championships. Dagorne's focus on nurturing young talent, exemplified by promising riders like Chung Shirho and Wu Chunin, aims to position Hong Kong for future Olympic success, with ambitions set on the 2032 Brisbane Games. His holistic approach, balancing talent development with international exposure and meticulous technical training, underscores a resilient effort to elevate Hong Kong cycling from its humble beginnings to a competitive force on the world stage. The Independent reports on a powerful earthquake that struck western Turkey, emphasizing the region's vulnerability and resilience amid ongoing seismic activity. The magnitude 6.1 quake, centered in Sindurgi, caused the collapse of several buildings already weakened by previous tremors, yet no immediate casualties were reported. The region, frequently rocked by earthquakes, most notably the devastating 2023 magnitude 7.8 event, continues to grapple with aftershocks and the psychological toll on residents. Many remain outdoors, wary of returning to their damaged homes, as rain and cold weather complicate relief efforts. Local authorities have mobilized shelters in mosques, schools, and sports halls to accommodate frightened civilians, highlighting the community's resilience and the ongoing threat posed by Turkey's geologically active fault lines. The report underscores the persistent danger in the region, where the frequency and intensity of earthquakes serve as a stark reminder of the fragile infrastructure and the urgent need for preparedness and mitigation strategies in a country accustomed to seismic upheaval. Yahoo US details the tense and complex situation surrounding Hamas's handling of Israeli hostages, revealing that the militant group is deliberately delaying the return of the bodies of Hadar Golden and Asaf Hamami. Despite knowing the precise burial sites of these slain soldiers, Golden, abducted during Operation Protective Edge in 2014, and Hamami, who was killed defending Kibbutz Nairam, Hamas is accused of stalling, possibly to leverage negotiations or for strategic reasons. The article highlights the emotional and political weight of these unresolved issues, with families and officials demanding accountability. The report also notes Hamas's recent confirmation of plans to hand over unidentified remains, excavated from Gaza, to the Red Cross, amidst ongoing efforts to locate and recover additional bodies. This ongoing standoff underscores the deepening complexities in the Israeli-Hamas conflict, where the fate of hostages and the handling of their remains remain a sensitive, contentious issue with profound implications for peace and justice. The Independent vividly details Rachel Reeves' diplomatic dance in the Gulf, portraying her as a strategic envoy seeking to bolster the UK's economic ties through high-profile forums like the Fortune Global Forum and the Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh. The narrative paints her efforts as a mix of soft power and pragmatic economic ambition, aiming to secure lucrative defense deals reminiscent of the historic Al Yamama Agreement, and to attract inward investment in sectors like green energy and finance. The story emphasizes the potential gains, defense exports, portfolio investments, and a future free trade agreement, while acknowledging the complex backdrop of human rights concerns and geopolitical tensions that shadow these ambitions, illustrating the delicate balance Reeves must navigate in her pursuit of economic growth. BBC's report captures the excitement surrounding the UK's landmark £8 billion deal to supply Turkey with 20 Typhoon fighter jets, framing it as a significant victory for British industry and NATO security. The narrative highlights how this deal, the largest in nearly 2 decades, promises to sustain thousands of UK jobs and deepen strategic ties with Turkey, with Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and President Erdogan both celebrating the agreement as a symbol of strengthened relations. The story vividly describes the production process, noting that over a third of each jet is made in the UK, and underscores the economic and military significance of the deal, supporting thousands of jobs across Lancashire, Bristol, and Scotland, and marking a new chapter in UK-Turkey defence cooperation. The tone is optimistic, emphasizing the deal's role in bolstering UK's defence industry and NATO's southeastern flank, while portraying it as a milestone in UK aerospace exports. The Independent also explores the UK's ongoing struggle to reform its property tax system, illustrating how plans for a mansion tax on properties over £2 million are seen as insufficient to fill the looming £50 billion fiscal black hole. Economists and MPs criticize the current system, based on outdated council tax valuations and lump sum stamp duties, as regressive and inefficient, advocating instead for comprehensive reforms like proportional property taxes aligned with current values. The narrative vividly depicts the political tension surrounding these proposals, with fears expressed that punitive taxes could stagnate London's property market and dampen economic vitality. Critics warn that piecemeal measures like mansion taxes are short-sighted, emphasizing the need for radical overhaul to create a fairer, more sustainable tax system that encourages growth rather than discouraging high-net-worth individuals from investing in the UK. CNN reports that Hamas has announced its readiness to return the bodies of another deceased hostage on Monday evening, marking a significant step in the ongoing ceasefire negotiations. The militant group's military wing, Al-Qassam Brigades, specified that the body would be handed over to the Red Cross at 9 p.m. local time, after which they will have transferred 16 of the 28 bodies agreed upon, with 12 more still in Gaza. The situation remains fluid, with Egyptian heavy machinery involved in the search for the remaining bodies amid ongoing tensions and delays, highlighting the fragile nature of the ceasefire and the complex process of recovering the deceased. The Jerusalem Post details Naftali Bennett's bold proposal to dismantle Israel's education ministry, criticizing its current role in managing educational disparities that have placed Israel at the top of global gaps in educational outcomes. Bennett advocates for a radical restructuring where the ministry would focus solely on policy setting, leaving local authorities and schools to handle implementation. The conference, held at Levinsky Wingate Academic Center, also explored the transformative impact of artificial intelligence on education, emphasizing that humanity has lost its monopoly on thinking. Bennett blames Israel's political environment, rife with division and hate, for resisting necessary reforms, and calls for leadership that promotes unity and innovation in the face of rapid technological change. Australian Broadcasting Corporation highlights the evolving concept of babysitting, a term initially used humorously in Netanyahu's 2015 campaign to symbolize his protective role over Israel's future. Today, it signifies the perception of intense U.S. oversight and influence over Israeli affairs, especially as high-ranking American officials, including Jared Kushner, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, visit Israel in quick succession. Netanyahu has publicly rejected claims that the U.S. is babysitting Israel, asserting the independence of both nations while emphasizing their partnership. The visits come amid ongoing military tensions following the Gaza ceasefire, with Israel cautiously managing the fragile truce and its military operations, including strikes in Gaza and continued concerns over potential escalation, all under the watchful eye of the U.S. Command Center in southern Israel. Meanwhile, political tensions simmer over Israeli annexation plans and regional ambitions, with Netanyahu's government facing international skepticism and internal dissent, especially from coalition members like Bezalel Smotrich, who advocate for territorial expansion and assert the importance of sovereignty, an issue closely monitored by the U.S. to maintain regional stability. According to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, the plight of Israeli families like Ruby Chen's, who has been desperately awaiting the return of his son Itai, encapsulates the profound grief and uncertainty following Hamas's surprise attack on Israel and the subsequent ceasefire negotiations. Despite an agreement to release 48 hostages, only 35 have been freed, leaving families in limbo and mourning the loss of loved ones, with some still waiting to lay their children to rest. The situation is further complicated by Hamas's claims of recovering additional hostages and the contentious efforts to retrieve remains, with Israeli authorities allowing limited cooperation from Hamas and Egyptian machinery while denying Turkish involvement, citing long-standing hostility. Meanwhile, Hamas's leadership has called for international peacekeeping forces, including UN troops, to ensure stability in Gaza, but Israel and Jordan remain wary, citing security concerns and political tensions, especially with Turkey. The delay in hostage releases has also hindered aid delivery, with Hamas accusing Israel of using the situation as a pretext to obstruct essential supplies, despite international rulings demanding unimpeded humanitarian access. The complex web of negotiations, geopolitical mistrust, and human suffering underscores the fragile state of peace and the ongoing trauma faced by families and the broader region. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.